Hey, everybody, how you doing? It's Star Delta 9 coming at you live. I had a little bit of issues with the control panel on this computer and what was going on. So I have chat pulled up here. I'm going to try and close this. Hmm. I think they're making me stream live in beta, but that's okay. So what I'd like to say is welcome to my channel. I appreciate you guys strolling through for a bit. I'm Star Delta 9. Please be sure and hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified if there's any new uploads. Hit the thumb if you enjoy the video, and please share the video so that people who want and need this information have access to it. Thank you so much. Any donations to the channel, you can find links under the About section if that's something that you want to do. Links are there. This allows me to contribute to upload content which is needed here on YouTube. So YouTube gives us a platform, you guys, to reach millions of souls daily. So this is a priceless and valuable asset, I think, to have. Knowledge is truth, and that power is awesome. So thank you again for your subscription and your support. So today I want to talk about a little bit about the chakras. Some people call them emotional centers, but I want to call them chakras. The chakras have a fitting. The 7 chakras have been fitting in with some kind of sacred 7, right? Like the 7 rainbows, the 7 colors, the 7 days of the week, the 7 days that it took to create the world. Well, the chakras, the 7 chakras, those are associated with the 7 rainbow colors. Each chakra having its own color. And this is a modern departure at work, right? So colors allow it to become easily to remember their functions and their locations. So many years ago, the Vedic texts discussed the development of the psychic skills of the supernatural power that arises from spiritual experiences through exercise. That connection with the spirit world attached attention, I want to say somewhere around the 19th century in Western thinkers. So many have become interested, like in Oriental mysticism, if you will. So, moments of such spiritualism. So, depending on the system that you believe in, whether it's a classic or it's a modern system, or more than a particular description of a complex of sets of energies, which are interactions that make up who we are, the human, the mind, the body, the spirit. So today live, I'd like to talk about that. And then I want to talk a little bit about each one of the chakras, what their color is, where they're located, and kind of what their function is. There's so much information out there on the internet that you can get about these, but I want to talk a little bit about those. So let me go back here to the beginning. They took out half of my presentation, I believe. It's really crazy. Let me look again. Let me look again. Where do I go here? Yeah, I did. Anyway, it's like it's taken out quite a bit of my my presentation I did. If you look back at modern studies of embryology, it has yet to uncover the mechanisms by which, like, the original cells, which are identical or undifferentiated, migrate at certain places in an embryo, and it brings form to organs when someone's pregnant, when they're having a baby. These studies, their studies, have come a long way, and they're still doing it. But some topics which might interest you are pretty fascinating in topics. They fascinate me. So I want to talk about what this is, because in contemporary medicine or holistic or philosophies or Western cultures, it's seen that, um, like I was saying, it's subtle. It's spiritual power that's controlled by an existence of physical matter. But deep in the center of our brains, I want to talk about, there lies a complex series of organs which are known as the limbic system. I don't know if you know it or not. Some have heard it, some have probably not. Within that system, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland controls all of our hormones within our body. Those two glands right there, the pituitary gland, number one, is considered the master gland. It controls homeostasis in our body. The pineal gland has other functions. I'll talk about those. In the same way, the crown chakra regulates the crown chakra system. In modern Vedic, they see that they say that it's been linked to each part of the limbic system with the function and the energy to the planetary influences of our lives, and can become a concept of non-physical chakras, right? That's why we can't see them. That's why we can't see them with the naked eye. The pineal gland and the pituitary, like I was saying, are the master gland. The head controls the body in that sense, when I'm referring to hormonal sense. They're small organs they have huge effects on us. Whether they're closed off or they're functioning full, it's key to maybe do some mindful meditation practice and some clearing practices. Changing at one level will bring automatic change to another, because dysfunction at a physical level is echoed in the function of the chakra. And in that stress, in that chakra within itself, it's felt as discomfort. And that discomfort is felt at the level of your mind and your body and your emotions, right? So these are important centers within us. So I want to talk a little bit about them and tell you what each one represents. At the very beginning of conception, when you're born, these centers are there. The first two that are activated is the crown chakra. That's the nutrition and intuition, learning. So we'll talk about the first 7. And by no means is this a complete translation or study. This is just information that people have been asking me to put out, so I'm going to put it out. Okay. We have 7 chakras, and I'm going to show you the stones, and you can get them in little bags. The base chakra is sometimes some people say it represents the vortex, and it has kind of a downward spiral. It's located at the base of the spine, and systems that it's related to are, they say, testes, ovaries, adrenal glands. And the adrenal glands affect or reflect our basic survival instincts, okay? So when you're born, the first one that's activated is the red one. And that is because that is basic survival instincts and nutrition. And the color is red. You can get these at any one of your spiritual centers or holistic centers or something like that. And you can use them, because you can use light energy. You can use hands-on healing energy. I'm freezing because of that air conditioner. You can use stones and crystal energy healing. There's several different healings that you can do through your chakras with chakra energy, and you can clear. So I want to talk about the second one. The second one is kind of an orange, and it's called the sacral, and it's the sex chakra. It's located in the lower abdomen, and it's between the navel and the pubic bone. And this is if you think about your spine, if you think about your vertebral system, it's related to the sacral vertebral in your spine. Your tailbone, your lower butt where you sit on. or your coccyx bit right there. Here is where if this is responsible for testes, ovaries, and sex glands, right? But the chakra there is mostly associated with emotions and sensuality. So it makes sense why it's emotion. So, and if you look these up, these are the colors, the 7 colors of the rainbow. They represent the 7 emotional centers within our system, that our system backs up the validity that your mind is a little computer and your body is the machine. Your hormones are the things that keep that mind running and this machine going. So if they're out of whack, it's certainly understandable that you would be out of whack, right? Because anytime we create a trauma or a something in our life that comes into our life and we don't address it, you shut those centers down. And if those centers are shut down, the one above it, there's a certain order it's supposed to go in based on our life. And individually, it's different for everybody. It's not the same, you know? So I want to do more videos on it. I want you guys to see it, but this is just on the fly. So, all right, the solar plexus. This is located in the front of the body, between the rib cage, and it's called the diaphragm. Really, it's the diaphragm area. It's the navel, right at your navel. This chakra is yellow, right here, and it's for personal energy and power, and it's associated with the adrenal glands and the pancreas. And if you look up each one of the chakras are related to an organ within our body. Therefore, there's a hormone that is released or not released to go into that organ to create it to function in homeostasis. Because the pituitary gland is the master gland. It's the brain. It's in the brain. It's a tiny, tiny little gland, but it's a master gland. It does so many things. And we have 1,400 hormones raging through our body. So I thought maybe this might be an easier way when they asked me to do it for you guys to understand. Now, the solar plexus is named after a really complex bunch of nerves, and they're found here in connection to your spine also, particularly in your lumbar area. Now you have the cervical, thoracical, lumbar, sacral, and coccyx, right? Well, when that's what happens, like if you see someone that's paralyzed, that very complex, intricate basket there, if you will, of nerves that's found that connects to the spine, particularly that area or the cervical area, has been damaged in some way, creating the paralysis. So the yellow one works really well, especially if someone is in a lot of pain or it's blocked, because that's the power energy. And if it's closed down too, you have to think about your adrenal glands and the pancreas, what they do, what their function is. So, that's a whole nother video. But if your adrenal gland and your pancreas aren't functioning, that's how people get hepatitis. They get inflammation of the pancreas and they go to the hospital and they have hepatitis. The adrenal glands aren't functioning, so patients come in all the time with adrenal diseases because of adrenal gland deficiencies, because the adrenal gland is not functioning properly. So these are really key points. And if you look up crystals and you look up, chakras, and you relate the two together, you will begin to see the correlation between the body and the organs. And if you get some really good literature, you can even find pictures in really great literature. I have a really great book. I'll put a link down in the comment section below. I always say that, and I never do, so I'm going to show you it. It's Sue and Simon Lilly, and it's called The Healing of Crystals and Chakra Energy. And it's a beautiful book. It's a beautiful, beautiful book. But basically, it's a unique combination of natural therapies that you can use with your crystals and stones. You can use visualization, meditation. many you can do. I'll put them up if you guys are interested in doing them. And it's really important to keep your emotional centers open. Even if you don't believe in the original Sanskrit in the Indians text where they talked about these were used for spirituality, connecting to another realm, the cosmos. Even if you don't believe in stuff like that, that's okay. In order for your body to stay in homeostasis, these emotional centers need to be open, unblocked, and cleared. And if they're not, you need to get to the root of the problem as to why they're not. Right? So, number 4 is the blue one. And I always have trouble with these because there's a really, well, no, that's the blue. There's a really pretty, blue, this blue. The heart chakra. It's located in the center of your chest, and it's associated with those really complex nerves that I'm talking about when I was talking about the solar plexus, and I was talking about the lumbar area of your spine. In this chakra, you have that also another complex bunch of nerves that are sitting right there. Now, these are associated with the thoracic vertebrae, the vertebral in the spine, your upper chest. They're related to the thymus gland, located in the heart. That gland is vital for growth and maintenance in our immune system. 2 nerves center here, very important nerves, the pulmonary plexus and the cardiac plexus. Both are centered there, and that chakra deals with love and relationship. It's our heart, right? And it's green. It's green. It's this beautiful green. Now the throat chakra is our 5th one. And the throat chakra is located, it's actually, the throat chakra is located in your throat, clearly, and it's located with those intricate nerves that I'm talking about in the thoracic vertebral. The base of the throat, it's manifests for our communication and creativity. It's related to your thyroid and your parathyroid, which is the master controller of our body. Pituitary gland tells the thyroid and the parathyroid to release or cut off specific hormones based on an emotional response you're experiencing. I'm sure you've dealt with being frightened at one time, or you felt that you were either scared shitless and you had to flight or fight. That is a response of this system that I'm talking that regulates homeostasis. The mind, pituitary gland, told the thyroid or the parathyroid gland to release a fight or flight hormone. Other hormones that they release are oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin. There's 1,400 hormones. I can go into them all, but it's kind of overwhelming when there's so many. So, no, if this one is shut down, the 2 nerves that are center and very important in your chest, respiratory center, is in your base of your brain. Yes, the respiratory center for your breathing and your respirations are in your brain. Yes, but you still have to have lungs. You still have to expand your lungs and distract them, right? Pull them back in. So the maintenance of our immune system is really important here. The thalamus gland's a really small gland, and that's located right above the heart. And it's a vital gland for growth and maintenance. Its color is green. Its color is green. The throat chakra is another thing about it is it controls our metabolic rate and the mineral levels in our body, like the pharyngeal plexus. When I say the word plexus, I'm referring to nerves. Okay, and pharyngeal, when you say pharyn, they're talking about the voice box. So that's where your voice box is located. That's the pharyngeal nerve that activates your body and allows you to speak. The pharyngeal plexus. That's the nerve. That's that complex nerve that I told you about that's built up in each one. Each one has a specific purpose, specific function. If they're not functioning, You can't speak. If your parathyroid and your thyroid gland are the master controllers of your body, I'm sure. How many people know others that have a metabolic problem and they have usually hyper or hypothyroidism? I know several. Now that's a blue one. That's a blue one. Okay. Now the third eye chakra. I know my chakra stones might not look the same color as yours on camera. That's okay. It's just a different screen. But that they're all the same color in everything you look up. So don't worry about them changing or you not remembering them or the order that they go in. You could Google a free list and print one out. There's oodles and oodles of information. Okay. So the brown one, I don't even know if it's brown. It looks kind of brown. It does if you hold it up. It looks like sand. Okay. That's the third eye, located in the center of your forehead. People call it the brow chakra. People call it the kundalini. People call it the third eye. It's located right here in the center of your forehead. This chakra is linked to your pineal gland that maintains your... Now, the pineal gland maintains your circadian rhythms, your wake and rest. And there's a carotid. Carotid means heart, right? See someone that says, oh, they had a carotid artery blockage and they had, a bypass, or he had an MI. Generally, there was an issue with the carotid somewhere. So when you're thinking about your carotid arteries, you're talking about carotid. That's arterial blood. That's not venous blood. That's the pumping blood that's going through your heart and pumping hard. And you can bleed out relatively quickly if you have a problem going on in your heart. Not to scare you, but that's the truth. The pineal gland that maintains the circadian rhythms that wake us up and help us rest. The cardiac nerve center, that function that's there, there's also in that third eye. That function is intuition and imagination. Let's use this as an example. You are walking, maybe, I don't know, out of a bar with a friend, and you guys have had a couple drinks, and you see a street this way, and you see a street this way, and they both streets will get you where you need to go in the same amount of time. Except this way, you see a couple lights that are like broken out of the lamps on the streets, and so your intuition tells you, I don't really want to go down that street. I'd rather go this way. It's more lit up. I've had a few drinks. I don't really want to go down that street. That is considered intuition. That is insight. And also the third eye gives us our imagination. And that's indigo. Now the crown chakra, that's located above the top of the head. And it influences, I'm going to say, for me, it influences all higher brain functions. It's connected to the pituitary gland and it controls the whole endocrine system. If you look up endocrine system, that is the study of hormones. If you go to an endocrinologist, that is a specialist that specializes in the human's hormonal system within our body, within the endocrine system. It's a study of hormones. This chakra there, the crown chakra, is responsible for helping you regulate and maintain homeostasis. Now, if you don't know what homeostasis is, that's a violet one. I don't know which one of these is violet. This looks violet to me. They look different in colors, some of them, so you have to really look at them, and the lighting in here isn't really good. So the crown chakra is located above your head, and it influences your higher brain function. It's connected with the pituitary gland and controls the whole endocrine system. So if your endocrine system is not functioning and it's shut down, what is happening? Also, the crown chakra function is well as knowledge and allowing us to understand. Now, as I was saying, the modern study of embryology has yet to uncover the mechanisms by which original cells, which they are either identical or undifferentiated, meaning they aren't the same. Where they migrate, where they go, certain places when a woman is pregnant and you're an embryo, and they begin to form teeth, heart, tissue, cell, or muscle. They're still doing studies on them, and they've come a long way. And if you're interested in looking at the modern study of the embryology, you can look it up. Embryology is the study of embryo. So there's a lot of information. Anything with OLOGY is ology. That's the study of something. So, like I was saying before, in contemporary medicine or holistic philosophies of non-Western cultures, it's kind of unseen and subtle, and spiritual powers that control the existence of a physical matter, right? In contemporary. So deep in the center of our brain, like I was saying, there lies a complex series of organs known as the limbic system. And I'm sure you've heard of it, just like I told you before. Within that system, the pineal gland and the pituitary gland, which controls the body's hormones for homeostasis, lies. And in some way, the crown chakra regulates those chakra systems. So it would make sense to me if one was off and had a dysfunction going on because it wasn't functioning at full capacity, because there's a lag. It's basically based on the individuality of the individual. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. It's based on the individuality of the individual. So mine, yours, someone else's is going to be different. The pineal and pituitary gland, like I said, are your master glands. The head controls the body in that sense, okay? But when you're talking about a spiritual sense and you're talking about emotions, that's a whole different topic. So try not to confuse the two. There are small organs within that have huge effects within our body. And whether, I said before, if they're closed off or they're not functioning fully, it's key to do clearing practices. Learn how to do mindful meditation. People say, well, what's mindful meditation? Well, for me, mindful meditation is quieting the vibrations. Because I told you guys before, when you've had a spiritual awakening, there's a culpability, there's an undeniable rhythm. You can't deny it. You just can't deny it, and you can hear it, you can feel it. And so when your body begins to fire, like mine is firing now because mine was closed off, it's key that I practice clearing those and because it's like I don't know I don't know what kind of word I want to use for that. That it's kind of like it's a lag. It's like when I speak, you might not hear me for 2 seconds over where you're at, or maybe a little longer depending on the country you're in. If I have something in the solar plexus that's blocked, if my yellow solar plexus is blocked, right, which is at my center here, and if you look at the little petals that go around the chakras that are all listed, those have meaning too, and that's a whole nother video. But if this is blocked, it makes sense to me that anything above it is probably not functioning at 100% or the way it's supposed to, right? Either, because there's a dysfunction from below that. And it's a system that works systematically up, and it's a constant rhythm. And so that's why I say there's a culpability to the rhythm. And so once you're open, for me, I'm able to feel whether or not I'm beginning to close off because of self-limiting belief and starting to run my body from a mind point of view versus an emotional that I get and feel and then think a thought and then my body follows. You through the practicing of mindfulness and calming and becoming conscious with oneness, with consciousness, oneness, you can begin to feel them, sense them, because you have to think, if there's a dysfunction at a physical level, it's echoed in the function of the chakra, and the stress is in that chakra, whether they're what it does is it's felt as a discomfort at the level of your body or your mind or your emotions, right? And that mind or that body begins to feel uncomfortable through emotions you're feeling. I'm sad, I'm depressed, oh, I can't think, I'm always going to do this. Your mind begins to race, you start to feel unemotional, and it begins to create a problem within your body. Depression hurts. Ask anyone that's had depression. It's painful. And when they say it's painful, they mean physical pain too. So there's really important centers that lie within us, and we have to pay attention to those and constantly ask ourselves, are you being the witness or the observer? Are you responding or are you reacting? Are you in consciousness? Are you treating whatever is coming your way, whether it's pleasant or negative, or coming from good principles? It's hard to do. We're human beings, and that's why I say, in the same way the crown chakras are regulating our systems, when I talk about modern Vedic, they say it's linked to each part of our limbic system, and then with the functions of these energies, they have planetary influence on our lives. And as a concept of non-physical chakras, when you say non-physical, it's like, this book is physical. I can see it, touch it, smell it, feel it, I can lick it if I want to. But my chakras, I can't see them, right? I can't physically see them in my body. So why are they there? Why are they there? That's a really great question. Look it up. There are small organs with huge effects upon us, and they all have to do with the 7 emotional centers, chakras, whatever you want to call them. So people, like I said, are not comfortable with calling them chakras because it takes them into a spiritual realm of extraterrestrial or esoteric or divinations of reading tarot cards, and that fears somebody. I don't think it fears them because it either fears them for 2 reasons, either false belief of what they've been told about it, or they don't want to really see the truth. Denial. And if you're living in fear and denial, you're not living in love. It's like telling someone that you can't go bike ride down the hill 25 miles a day, even though you enjoy it, because, to me, driving 25 miles with a seat at my ass is not a fun. So you can't do it anymore. I don't have a right to do that to someone, So it'd be the same thing as someone saying, or having an offense or creating an offense based on their own belief. You have to remember, it's their belief. It's not yours. It has no weight bearing on you. It's not your belief. If you're coming from principles of joy, your higher self, the greater good for the collective and yourself, then you can't go wrong. Do we make mistakes? Absolutely. Do we attach ourselves to drama, to things, to trauma, to discord in our lives? Yes. Sometimes by our own accord and sometimes not. And so I think if you can arm yourself with every possibility, that's kind of like, you wouldn't ask a police officer to go into a, shootout unarmed without a vest on and backup. You just wouldn't do it. So why are we as souls, as beautiful souls, walking around on this beautiful universe, not taking care of ourselves? Because it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to love ourselves. And we are taught from a very young age. We are taught from a very young age that none of this, I don't even think my parents told me anything about chakras when I was growing up. I don't think they ever told me anything about it. My mother was telling me a little bit about spirituality and tarot and divinations and things like that. But it's going to be based on your system of belief, whether it's classic or modern. It's not really no more than partial description of what I'm saying. It's a complex set of energies that's interacting to make up the human mind, the body, and the spirit. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. So if you have questions, please sound off in the comment section below. I'm sorry that this had a little bit of difficulty getting started. I've noticed that Google's putting everything over to beta and as of August. So I don't know what's going on, but it took me a minute to get it started. I still don't think it's appropriate. And it took my whole outline away. So, and I worked really hard on that outline. But see, there's a reason I don't have the outline in front of me, because I'm just supposed to talk. I'm just supposed to tell you what I know. So I think it's sometimes best to do that way, because then you know the person is speaking to you from their utmost heart and they have the greatest intention for you and the collective and themselves. So I really appreciate you guys stopping by. Just know, take care of yourself. Love yourself. It, you love your children unconditionally. They wear the best shoes, they wear the best clothes, drive the best cars, go to the best schools, eat the best clothes, have the best friends, go to the best colleges. And mom and dad are usually sitting at home. You know, your children don't bring you intimacy. Your friends and your materialism in your world, in your money, and your things and your possessions don't bring you happiness. Those are simply commodities that we use in this lifetime to make this realm comfortable. That's our God-given right to have basic needs: a roof over your head, food in your stomach, a decent car to drive, gas to put in it. That's a basic need as far as I'm concerned. It's not a luxury. It's not a luxury. And many people live beyond their luxuries, beyond their means. And we need to get back to some spirituality and some oneness, and I want to do my part to share that with you all if I can. So I'm really sorry again that this stuff is not working out the way I wanted it to. I don't have any outline, and I didn't see chat, so I'm sorry. Peace, everybody. Peace, peace, peace. I didn't see any chat at all. So I showed you the chakras. These are the chakras. And you can buy these at any one of the stores, and you can get them in a kit like this. Remember, the root one is red, the sacral is orange, the solar plexus is yellow, heart is green, the throat is blue, the third eye is indigo. That's why people say when they see my aura, they say they see purple. They say they see purple and violet and then green and white. And it's maybe because I'm a Reiki instructor. Maybe because I'm teaching spirituality. I don't know. That's just the color of my aura. I told you guys how you can go outside and test the aura. Please let me apologize for my attire. That's why I'm like right here up. It is hot, hot, hot up here. And it's not been very fun or comfortable. So I hope I didn't, make anybody uncomfortable. I'm just trying to stay cool, and man, is it hot. 100 and something out there. I don't even know. So I'm glad you guys stopped by. Thank you so much. This book is an amazing book if you want to get it. It's called Healing with Crystals and Chakra Energy. It's how to harness and transform powers of color crystals in your body. You guys know I'm a nurse. And if you can maintain homeostasis within your body, if you don't take anything away from this video at all, take this away. If you are functioning on a fight or flight system, which means your pituitary gland is only functioning on a portion of it, and it means usually discord, fight, flight, not happy, not good area. And we do it because we are grown up with self-limiting beliefs that were placed upon us by our own. Sometimes our own doing, and sometimes not so much our own doing. Most of the time, not our own doing. And those are beliefs that you learned as behaviors. And when those behaviors became truth to you, that became knowledge to you. And that knowledge became your truth, and you lived it every fucking day. So it's hard to break. It's a hard habit to break because the mind is not always cooperative. And the mind body, again, that's why I call it the mind body. When I'm bucking the system, I have mind body discomfort. That dis, that starts before the word disease is discomfort. It's caused by trauma, discord, constant emotional turmoil or upset in your environment. And that, my friends, is what causes a chronic condition to flare up in your body. If your body is functioning properly and your pituitary gland is functioning, your thalamus, all those things, your adrenal gland, and all of that stuff, and you're maintaining homeostasis, I can't tell you how many patients I run into that have suffering from inflammation. If they could learn to meditate a little more, maybe have some Reiki sessions, do some self-care and self-love for themselves, they'll be able to do that. But most people say, I don't have the time. I'm working all the time, I'm taking care of my kids, it's go, go, go. But get ready, my friends. It's coming. It's coming. And these chakras, just like I said, they have a specific order that they work and that they are initiated in, right? And most of them are fully initiated by the time you're 23 years old. So do not beat yourself up for things that you don't know why you are doing it or behaving that way. What you need to do is go inside and ask yourself, be the witness. Find out what it is that's creating that discord. Because that discord causes and that causes discomfort, aches and pain, inflammation, insomnia, anxiety, depression, and the list goes on and on and on and on, my friend. And the next thing you know, you're at the doctor's with a ton of medicines that you could fill a medicine chest with. When it's really your body is shut down and you're not functioning at 100% capacity the way you need to be or want to be. And it's sometimes not by any fault of your own. Like I said before, sometimes it is. Some people deliberately will do things that create discord in people's life for no reason. You know someone like that, I'm sure, where they're not happy unless they're wreaking havoc. Yeah, it's kind of something like that. So all of these things are linked together to our basic needs of homeostasis. And God, whether you believe in God or source or any of those things I've told you guys, there is no God. There's no source. There's no divine. Your feelings are whatever they are personally for you. We are all energy made up of 9.999% energy. I mean, look up an atom. Look up an atom and look at the functions of the atom. Look at the universe and what it's made of. Look at your body and what it's made of. And the rest of it's water. The rest of it in your body is water. So if you have water and electricity, meaning energy, moving around and pulsing through your body, the first question I would have to ask myself is why? Why the hell is that there? Where did it come from and why do I have it? Because I want to know. And then when you start investigating that, you start to realize, and when things begin to level out a little bit for you, and you're able to start releasing some of those energies, and those glands begin to get fired up, I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. Get prepared to be uncomfortable, because it's fucking uncomfortable. You might itch in places for no reason, or it's just uncomfortable. It's a video I need to do all by itself. But this is just a touch on the subject. So no, by no means in my disclaimer that this is a complete illumination of the whole story about chakras, because I don't think there's There's so much information, it's a vast amount. And you cannot deliver it in an hour and you can't deliver it in a day. And it's a process that you need to learn upon and stack upon, just like a job, just like a car. When you went to, driver's ed and you got your driver's license and you went to school, you have to learn how to drive that vehicle. I remember my parents taking training wheels off my bicycle, and I was scared shitless that I was going to crash because I wanted those wheels because it kept me stable. But when we're growing and we're that age, we're fearful. We're not fearful. We're not fearful. You look at a child that's born. The child will crawl right off of a balcony because they don't have fear. They don't know what fear feels like. They don't know. That's why you don't want to have children close to windows because they'll crawl right the hell out and not think two shits about it because they don't know what it means. Because they're not there. They're not there mentally, emotionally, spiritually, anything. They're not emotionally matured at all. They're not even grown. They're just little kids. But the one that's born with them is their root chakra. Survival, nutrition. What's a baby do? Poops, pees, survives, and eats. Pretty basic need to me, pretty basic root chakra that's functioning at its core. And that's what they're supposed to do. And our parents, our school teachers, or whomever we are in our environments, tell us things. And the things they tell us aren't always truthful. And like I told you just a few minutes ago, when you believe that truth and it becomes knowledge and you live it, I could tell you the sky is orange, and even if it was, you'd call me a liar because it's your truth. And until you fucking see that, until you stop denying it and maybe look at something different, you won't. It won't come. But I'm telling you, to find oneness and consciousness with God, you don't have to be unique. You don't have to be special. You don't have to be anything but what you are right there, right now. That beautiful, beautiful soul that you are. And don't let anybody tell you differently. We're all messed up individuals when we get where we get. And it takes what it takes. But when you know better, you do better. And there's no blame. There's no judgment. Be judged and be judged. Right? Hand to God. If you think there's a God, hand to him because, or her, or whatever it is that you believe in. We really need to wake up. And I don't want to be someone that, because people say, okay, so now you know. So what? I still have the same shit going on in my life that you have. It doesn't make me unique in any way. It doesn't make me special in any way. It just means I've climbed higher up the Jacob's ladder and I only have less time on this earth and this 3D realm than you do. And so when you tell me it's a good thing, I'm like, no, I'm close to being taken off of this earth. And isn't it what it's about? And that's why you hear me being adamant. Not because I'm sitting on a fucking high horse. No. If someone told me this when I was 20, I'd be like, fuck, where do I sign up for this shit? That's what I would have been saying to them. I would be paying millions of dollars to hear them speak and talk to me and tell me how they got there. Because I'm not telling you my age. I'm just not doing it. My mother always said it's rude to ask. It's not nice to tell. And it's just a damn number anyway, right? You're only as young as you feel, right? But I did not obtain, and I mean this with no judgment, no guilt, no blame, no shame in my game. I did not get where I got by not living. And when I say not living, I'm not talking about out partying and have millions of dollars and luxury cars and great. No, I'm talking about gut wrenching freaking shit that's happened in my lifetime, starting with me being an early mother at age 17. A baby having a baby. Then her marrying and her husband dying right off the gate before I was even 25 years old. So I'm not telling you my age, but I've lived through some shit. And I used to say when I was in my 30s, this is the truth. I used to call my mom on the phone and say, God damn, lady. And she'd say, what? And I'd say, the older I get, the smarter you are. And she'd say, what are you talking about? And I'd tell her. And she'd say, I've been trying to tell you that, my darling, that you have the world by the tail and you know everything, right? Now, if I can save one person, some discord, some trauma, and when I'm saying trauma, I'm talking karmic, ancestral, genetic trauma that takes you to your knees, that's gut fucking wrenching. Because it is. It is. And there are going to be some things that's going to be in your life that you are going to have to realize and get real with yourself. And if you don't, that's where the difficulty lies. That's where the pain and the discomfort and disease pop up. Because we love to suffer. We love it. We love it. We love being martyrs, and we love. If this was not hard work, everybody would be turning. And it doesn't say anything to be judgmental of anybody. Nothing. It's hard work. But if you go to a car and you are into showing them and you look at your automobile and you're polishing that baby up and you're doing all the things that you want because you want to bring that trophy home, isn't that the same thing? You are the investment, my friend. The money, the house, even the kids, even the dog. They're not going anywhere with you when you leave here. If you're not standing in consciousness, for me, I believe, if I'm not climbing that Jacob's ladder and learning those 7 virtues, 7 chakras, 7 days of the week, 7 days to create the universe, 7 virtues. Yeah, do you think those are coincidence? But if I'm not doing something to ascend myself up that Jacob's ladder, am I serving my soul's purpose? No. Do we get derailed in our life and sidetracked by things and people and places? Yes, absolutely. That's life. And that's what tells you this is what I don't want, this is what I want. And you only learn that by experiencing the experience, right? So I don't don't hold me in high esteem. I'm not, please. I'm in the trenches right with you. I've been in the trenches right with you. And I don't expect anybody to do anything I don't expect myself to do. If your end goal is consciousness and oneness, I wouldn't ask you to do any more or any less than I am doing. I'm not willing to tell someone to do that if I'm not willing to put the work in myself. And that's why I'm doing it so raw, so literally raw. Some days when you see me, I'm like, it's not peaches and cream. It's gut wrenching work. And so I'm here to tell you there's a blissful ending. And I believe it's what we're all striving for. And if we can teach our children, if you have children, this is what's really key, because mine's 40. I can't teach him anymore. If I had small children, I would be teaching them a whole lot different than I was teaching my son. But I was teaching my son the things my parents taught me. There's no fault of my own. But I think if you were to hear my son tell his side of the story, he'd probably tell you differently. And that's just what it is. Because I did the best I could being a child, raising a child. Life gets in the way. Made me realize you don't want to have a baby at this age because you're just a baby yourself. And it created some discord in my life and some discomfort. So I understand. I'm not immune. I'm not immune. I'm not above. I'm not below. I'm the same as you. We're all the fucking same. And we're all here. When I say collective, I'm talking collective. You, me, the dog, the tree, the bush, anything that's living, anything that has a heartbeat, we're connected. Animals, spirits, birds. If it doesn't have a heartbeat, it doesn't have energy. Think about that little gland I talked to you about that's on top of your heart when you have a heart attack. That gland just goes and it shrivels up and it turns black. It's kind of scary. So if you've got to take care of you, in order for you to take care of your children and your children to grow up, because they are what? The way of the future. And if we're teaching them the things that we were taught when we know, as sure as we're sitting in our chair, that some of the shit we were taught is wrong, yet we're doing it because we don't know another way, I'm showing you another way. Flip it. It's not easy and it takes work, but it's worth it. And think about what you're doing for your children instead of driving them with the best clothes, the best shoes, the best schools. Push, 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 push. You have to be good, 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 good. And if they fail at one thing, that means they're bad. There's a lot of damage to a child. A lot of damage has to be. I was pushed, 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 and failed a lot of times, and it did a lot of damage to me. So I'm here to tell you, it does a lot of damage to those young children, to those young souls. You push them in soccer, or push them in a sport, push them in this, push them in that, and they fail at that sport. One or two things happen. They either deliberately go out and fail because they don't want to do it really, or they fail and they feel like they're a failure. And so all of this stuff is relevant. It's all relevant. And if you can teach your children the 4 principles of life, get the agreement. Get that book, The Agreement. Teaches the 4 principles of life. Have your kids read it. Get them some spirituality books. Show them the yoga pose. Let them meditate with some mindfulness. Do it with them. The energy that you and your child will exchange, you will be blissful. You'll be like, oh my God, because you will share the energy. When I do Reiki on the equine, I can do one horse on the dang farm on that side of the ranch, and every horse is in the left-hand corner with their head almost touching the ground, licking their lips, which is a telltale sign. I look at their back feet and it's hunched up and they're just rested. They just came over to share the energy they had with the horse and me. The only difference is animals don't have people creating discord unless they're abusing. It's beautiful energy. So the animals even sense it and come to that side of the crowd. It's pretty amazing. So now you know what the chakras are. Now you know what they do. Now you know a basic function that they do. If you're interested in more, get the book. It's by Sue and Simon and Lily. It's a great book. and it has beautiful photos in it. I can do some, you can do visualization and some other types of healing. I can show you guys how to do that. And if you guys are interested in it, let me know, because I'm happy to do it. I do it anyway, so I'd love to record something for y'all. I love you guys so, so much. Thank you for coming in. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up if you liked the video or if it resonated with you. Please be sure and do me a favor and share the video. There are a lot of people looking for this information, and there's not a lot of information out there. And I really would like it to get into the hands of the people that need it, want it. If you don't want it, that's fine. If you want to thumb down it, that's fine too, because it's not my issue. I don't care. I don't care. I just want it out there to the people that need it and want it. I'm going to continue doing videos, the Fellowship of the Dank is on hiatus. Soap is done. Soaps are being done. Still got some issues going on in my life. You guys know that. But it is what it is. And the more I can do for you guys and the more I can get out of myself, the more I heal. And so I don't really want to say that because the healing implies I have there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you guys. You guys are perfect. You are the Fellowship of the Dank. I love sharing wisdom, strength, and knowledge with you guys. Thanks for strolling through. Hit that thumbs up. Sound off in the comment section. Don't forget to comment. No question, stupid question. No matter not stupid questions, I don't do not ask. Right? Still get to know. Still.